All right, let's talk about detection dogs. For decades, there's been this one golden rule that everyone's followed. But what if that rule is wrong? We're going to dig into whether human scent is the enemy we think it is, or if there's a much smarter way to be training our dogs.
So here's the big question. For years, the message has been crystal clear. Human scent is bad. It's a problem, something you have to minimize, control, and basically get rid of at all costs. But is that obsession actually making our dogs better at their jobs? Or could it be setting them up for failure when it really counts?
Okay, so first, let's unpack this long-held belief. People call it the scent-free dogma, and it's all built around one single powerful idea: contamination. The thinking goes like this. Human scent is a contaminant. It's just noise that gets in the way of the dog learning the one smell it's supposed to be learning. So the standard procedure has always been gloves, tongs, sterile everything. Create this perfect, clean training scenario. And on the surface, that sounds totally logical, right? And, to be fair, this whole idea isn't completely off base. There is one specific time, one specific phase, where this level of obsessive cleanliness is absolutely 100% crucial. And that's right here, in the imprinting phase. This is ground zero. It's when the dog first learns that this specific smell equals a reward. At this stage, you need a pure, clean scent picture. Any extra smells, whether it's from you or from another target odor, can just completely confuse the dog. So yeah, in the very beginning, sterile is definitely best.
But, and this is a huge but, this is where the trouble starts. What happens when we try to apply that sterile, laboratory-style approach to the messy, chaotic real world? Well, the difference is pretty shocking. Think about it. In training, you've got this clean room, clean surfaces, maybe just one handler, no real distractions. But on the job, you're dealing with a messy car, a chaotic building, maybe luggage that's been handled by 20 different people. In the real world, human scent isn't the exception. It is the environment. It's everywhere.
So here's the big mindset shift we need to make. The target odor, that's the signal we need the dog to find. Everything else, especially human scent, is just background noise. The goal shouldn't be to create this impossible, silent, sterile world. The goal is to train the dog to hear that one specific signal through all the noise. But the problem actually gets even deeper and a little more sneaky than that. By trying so hard to get rid of all human scent, we can accidentally create a brand new problem, an unintended cue that the dog starts to depend on. I mean, really put yourself in the dog's paws for a second. If the exact same handler, wearing the exact same brand of gloves, sets up the training problem every single time, what is the dog really learning? Is it learning to find the target odor? Or is it learning that the smell of Trainer Joe plus nitrile gloves is the thing that predicts a reward? That's how you create a brittle, unreliable dog. And gloves are the perfect example of this. They're the go-to solution, the symbol of clean training. But this simple precaution can actually be a huge trap. This quote from the source material just hits the nail on the head. It points out this massive contradiction. You have trainers who are absolutely fanatical about wearing gloves to avoid a tiny bit of their own scent, but then they'll turn around and toss all their different target odors into the same box to marinate together. That creates way more contamination. It just shows how a well-meaning ritual can stop making sense. Okay, so if the old way is flawed, what's the answer? Well, it's about shifting our entire philosophy. We need to move away from trying to eliminate scent and start intentionally training for the reality the dog is actually going to face. And the new goal is simple. It's not about elimination, it's about planned variation. Instead of trying to create an impossible scent-free bubble, you strategically and purposefully introduce different variables. This teaches the dog what's important, the target odor, and what isn't, which is pretty much everything else. This is how you build a tough, resilient dog. You mix it up. You have different people handle the training aids. You have different people set up the hides. You change the kind of gloves you use. Or, hey, maybe you don't use any gloves at all sometimes. You train in all kinds of different places. All of this teaches the dog one critical, invaluable lesson. Human scent is just background noise. It's irrelevant. Ignore it. And look, this isn't just some academic argument for trainers to have over coffee. In fields like law enforcement, the military, search and rescue, the reliability of a detection dog has incredibly high stakes. We're talking life and death. And you can see it right here in the data. A dog trained in that super sterile bubble might look like a rock star in the training room, but you put that same dog out in the messy, real world,
and its performance can absolutely plummet. Meanwhile, the dog that's trained with all that variation, it maintains that high performance because it's been prepared for the chaos of the real job.
And really, it all comes down to this. A brittle dog that needs everything to be just so is at the end of the day an unreliable tool. But a resilient dog, one that's been taught to filter out the noise and lock onto the signal, that's a trusted partner. That's a partner you can bet your life on.
So, if you walk away with just one thing today, let it be this. Stop training for a perfect, sterile world that simply does not exist. Train for the complex, messy, scent-filled world that your dog will actually be working in. That is how you build a truly reliable, confident detection team.
And that kind of brings us to a final thought, doesn't it? This whole idea of questioning these long-held beliefs, it's not just about dog training. It really makes you wonder, what other rules do we follow in our jobs, in our lives, without ever stopping to ask, hey, does this actually still make sense?